All right, so let's talk about standard form. Okay, so now we can have some very, very, very big numbers. Okay, so for example, we can have a number like this. This is probably 3 trillion. And then we can have a number like this. 0,00000000006, right? So these numbers are very long, and these numbers are difficult to handle, right? For scientists who make calculations with numbers like these numbers are difficult to handle. So what scientists did, they came up with a scientific notation, which we call standard form. So a number this long can be simplified to something like this: 3 times 10 to the power 12. And a number this long can be simplified to a number like this: 6 times 10 to the power minus 12. So that's standard form, right? That's how you can take these long numbers and shorten them and write them in this shorthand scientific notation. So what are the steps that you need to take if you're going to convert a number to standard form? So we want to talk about converting to standard form, right? What are the steps you're going to take, right? So the first step is always to move the decimal comma to the position between the first significant figure and second significant figure. So make sure you've done the topic on significant figures before you proceed, right? But make sure you move the decimal comma to the position between the first significant figure and the second significant figure. Now, let me be clear. This is the only time I expect you to move the comma, right? In the topic of standard form. That's the only topic I expect you to be moving a comma. When you're dealing with the rounding off, please do not move a comma. The comma is only moved when you're doing conversions for standard form. So make sure that you move the decimal comma to the position between the first significant figure and the second significant figure. So if I had a number like 0,0125, this is my first significant figure here. That's my second significant figure here. This comma must move from where it is to this position here, between the first and the second significant figure. That's your first step to converting a number to standard form. Make sure you do that all the time, right? If I have a number like 4,000, right? Whenever I have a number like 4,000, someone will say, wait, there's no comma here. When you have a number like 4,000, you assume the comma is at the end. And that's where it is actually, right? So you take this from the end and put it between. This is the first significant figure, that's the second significant figure. You put it right there. So your result from 4,000 will be 4,000. Since they are all zeros, it might as well just be a 4, right? So the first step is to move the decimal comma to the position between the first significant figure and the second significant figure. That's very important. The next thing is to count the number of steps the comma moved. I'm going to call that n, that number, right? So in my 4,000, my comma moved from here, ended up there. So that's 1, 2, 3 steps, right? So n is equal to 3 in that particular situation, right? Right? That thing moved 3 steps. Always make sure you know how many steps you moved. When you've done that, you go through to your last step. You just append this thing times 10 to the power n to your number. So if I had 4,000, I moved the comma 3 steps, I got a 4, right? Then I said 4, I just put times 10 to the power 3, because 3 is the number of steps that I moved. Okay, so one thing you need to know is that if I had something like this, 0,0007, right? My first significant figure is here. My second would have been there, right? So that's where I need to move the comma. I need to move the comma to that position, right? So I move the comma 1, 2, 3, 4 steps, right? Then I'll get a 7, right? These zeros won't mean anything, right? And then I'll append times 10 to the power 4 because it moved 4 steps. But whenever your number was starting with a 0, right, this thing must have a negative sign, right? Because the comma was moved in a different direction than you would have moved it if the number was not starting with a 0. So the negative sign shows that this is 7 times 10 to the power minus 4. The result is a number that's actually smaller than 7. It's 0,007, right? So it means the comma was moving in a particular direction. So whenever you have a number starting with a 0, make sure you put a negative sign. But when your number was not starting with a 0, your power is going to be positive, like what you're seeing here. Okay, so let's try a few examples to demonstrate. So we're going to try one by one. Okay, the first one, we have 1,600, right? For 1,600, this is our first significant figure. That's our second significant figure. We're going to move our comma 1, 2, 3 steps to get between the first and second. So I'll get 1,600, right, times 10 to the power 1, 2, 3. It was 3. These zeros don't count, so it's just 1,6 times 10 to the power 3. So that's it. That number is in standard form. Okay, let's try another one. We have 4 million. Okay, this is our first significant figure. That's our second significant figure. We move our comma 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 positions, right? So 6. So this is going to be 4, comma 0,00000 times 10 to the power 6. But all these zeros have no value to add, so it's just the same as 4 times 10 to the power 6. That number is now in standard form. Okay, so now let's try 0,00021. Okay, that's my first significant figure. That's my second significant figure. So I'm going to move my comma 1, 2, 3, 4. But notice I'm moving a different direction now. Okay, I'm now moving towards the right because the number is starting with a 0. So I'll have 2, 1, but it's times 10 to the power minus 4. Okay, the number was starting with a 0, so it's a small number, a number smaller than 1. So I put a minus to show that, right? So that's 2.1 times 10 to the power minus 4. Okay, this actually makes mathematical sense if we break this down and work through it, but we're just taking the shorter way here. So the final example is 0,0000008. Okay, this is my first significant figure. My second would have been there, right? I can even put a 0. It doesn't make a difference, right? So I move my comma 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But note the direction I'm moving the comma. The comma is moving that way, so that's going to result in me having a minus on my 7. So I've converted that to standard form. So try the questions on conversions from general numbers to standard form, and then we will proceed.